JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 19th of May 2022. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD JFD YouTube channel, first of all. So JFD YouTube channel, which you can sign up to, and yep, I believe you can find some useful information here, and also some useful information on our JFD Brokers website. So if you click here on start learning and go to market news and analysis, I believe there will be some tips that you can utilize. So anyway guys, have a look through this. I believe, like I said, you can find it useful, and let's jump into the charts. The first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So yep, the index drifted back down. So yesterday I said that if we stay above this downside line, then yeah, we'll continue aiming higher. However, we failed to stay above it and we drifted back down, and most importantly, we dropped below this 26,438 zone right here, and we managed to stay below it as well. So now it's kind of opening the door towards further declines. However, if you're not really comfortable with all this area right here, then you can just wait until we get a clear breakout through one of these lines, either through this downside line again or this upside line here taken from the low, the 9th of March. So if you're not, like I said, if you're not comfortable with something, guys, just always leave it. You can find better opportunities somewhere else. Don't limit yourself to only one instrument. Shanghai Composite, guys, very quickly on this one. So yeah, it declined initially, dropped lower, fell below this upside line, but found support near this downside line, and not far from this hurdle, this breakout hurdle, the breakout level for the downside for me. So we can say this way that you can get rid of this upside line, no longer valid, but the this idea of aiming higher on a break of this 3,100 level is still valid, so that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. For now, yep, this is the barrier that I'm watching still for the upside. For the downside, I still need to see that drop below that 3,034 territory, somewhere around here, in order to go for some lower levels, because at the same time we'll be placed below this downside line. Now the German index DAX declined yesterday. Of course, yesterday, yeah, we saw a bit of red in the market, if you can say it this way. The US started selling off. Well, initially there was Europe started selling off. Then it was the US that kind of, took continued. But coming back to this, basically the index traveled back below this downside line right here, the one that I have drawn previously, this tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 5th of January, and yeah, we're back below this hurdle, this 14,034 zone. I spoke about that level previously. We didn't close below the psychological 14,000 mark, but if we take a look at the cash index right now, we will see that, well, the index now is drifting lower and is currently staying at around 13,860 zone. So yep, in a way, further declines are possible here, guys, so don't exclude that option. But at the moment, yeah, it's a little bit on the tricky side. So if you're looking for some further declines, yes, it could move lower if the index kind of falls below that 21-day EMA and stays below it. If it does that, then yeah, in a way we could start aiming for this upside support line taken from the low, the 7th of March. The S&P 500. So this one, yeah, declined in general. Yesterday was a huge down day in the market, in the U.S. market. Basically, all the indices, all the top 3 indices closed strongly in the red. Dow was the or should I say, the best one from the worst. It only losing around 3.5%, a little bit more than 3.5%. But Nasdaq was the biggest loser, 4.73, and the S&P was around 4.04. So in the loss. So yep, you can see here a huge decline. So basically, from the technical perspective, this downside line did provide its good resistance. So this is what I was talking about yesterday. I said that if we break this downside line, then yes, we will go for some higher levels, and we'll consider more buyers here that could join in. However, if this downside line continues to hold, well, and we see a drop back below this 4,056 territory, somewhere around here, then yep, maybe we could go for that 3,965 zone right here. And as you can see, we've managed to reach that target, and then my next target is around the 3,853 level. So I want to see what's going to happen here. In general, at this point, don't get me wrong, I mean, if we might see maybe a bit of a retracement of some sort given the steep decline here. So the cash index, for example, right now is sitting at around let me just quickly double check that, guys. Yeah, 30,917. So basically, slightly below where it closed yesterday. Not much below, but still. So in other words, given the steep decline, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. However, if it stays somewhere below this 3,964, 65 territory, somewhere around here, another decline could be possible, where we're going to aim for that 3,853 level. So keep that in mind. Jumping into Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, yeah, as I said, was the biggest loser, and well, actually Nasdaq Composite was the one that lost around 4.73. Nasdaq 100 lost around 5%. So yeah, huge decline here. In a way, yep, further declines are possible here, guys. So if we take a look at the cash index right now, we'll see that the index is trading at around 11,890 zone. So well below, well, not well below, but slightly below where it closed yesterday, but still above this hurdle, this 11,817 and 11,446 levels here. So we're still above this area, and in a way this idea kind of worked out. I was actually hoping maybe to see a bit of a larger move here, to a larger correction to the upside. However, well, I mean, it failed and drifted back down. So what we can do now, first of all, let's push away this arrow. Let's reuse it for the upside. For the upside, what I would like to see here is a push above the current highest point of May, or sorry, the current highest point of this week, which could be that barrier, which is around the 12,564 zone. So a nice good pop above it may attract more buyers, but again, well, depending on where we're going to be in relation to this downside line as well, that's where it's going to be quite interesting. So in other words, if we push through this downside line, if we push through this 12,564 territory, then yeah, potentially more buyers could join in. However, we're not there. We're far away from, well, we're already far away from there. So the only thing that we can probably see right now is a bit of a retracement, a bit of a correction here to the upside. But if it starts dropping below this 11,817 territory, now that's where I'll start looking at some lower levels slowly, of course, because then we would still need to overcome the the current lowest point of May near the 11,692 zone, and then yeah, we'll just have to take it from there, guys. So yeah, that's the kind of game plan for this right now. I know it's maybe not ideal, but there could be a bit of waiting involved here. So because like I said, if you're not comfortable with this, just don't touch it and just leave it for now and wait for that, kind of wait for that confirmation, and then, we can do something about it. But if this is, like I said, this is not your perfect scenario. For me, for example, it's not, I don't really like such scenarios. I mean, it's very close to the key support zone, but actually it's still kind of, it could reverse back to the upside and form something of a higher low here. So that's one of those where you just kind of, it's better to observe it and, take action later on. Oh, by the way, I can see in the chat room here, good morning, Evo. Yep, I hope you are having a wonderful Thursday. Good morning to everybody else, of course, as well, who are joining in. So I hope everybody else is having a wonderful start of Thursday. So, yeah, jumping back into the indices, DXY, look at this beautiful move to the upside, and basically this here acted, well, basically this acted as a nice safe haven. So the dollar index, the dollar did take the role of a safe haven, and that's why it reversed back to the upside and climbed back to this 103.82 zone. And if you remember what that level was, 103.82, that's the highest point of 2017, guys. Now we're back to this level, and to be honest, we're currently oscillating around it. Now let me clear up this chart a little bit, because I think that needs a few levels have to be adjusted. So I'll reuse it here. So for the upside, I would say the safest option could be to wait for a push above this 105 zone, just to be a little bit more on the careful side, because a nice pop above this level would confirm a forthcoming higher high. For the downside, now previously, or should I say yesterday, I talked about this 103 territory. I'm still keeping an eye on it, because, well, we have this upside line, because even if let's say if we today drop below this 103 territory, there still could be a hold up somewhere near this upside line. But depending on how this is going to move, maybe this is going to start moving sideways here for a little bit, getting closer, just kind of naturally just getting closer to this upside line, and then, yeah, if we eventually see the break of it, then lower levels could be met. However, if we continue to trade above this upside line, guys, I mean, still the upside scenario is still not off the table. In general, even right now, it's still here. I mean, it's still possible to see DXY kind of drifting back up. The only thing is that, for me personally, I would prefer to get a little bit more comfortable around here on a break of this 105 zone. Gold. Now, gold remained somewhat flat yesterday, I would say, and today it's kind of still flat. It's not really, but again, in general, after we had a nice reversal here back to the upside, we kind of came close to this upside line here, and then reversed back to the downside. What I said before, that I might consider this retracement. If it holds, if these two lines hold, then yep, another decline could be possible. Well, this is exactly what's happening. I would say 50% happening, because now I'm still kind of targeting this hurdle, this 1799 zone, or even this 1788 territory, somewhere around here, and then of course this highlighted zone right there further. But again, let's not rush into anything. Let's go slowly on this one. For now, I'm still kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside on this one, but I'm going to be very careful, very cautious here. So at the moment, I would say yes, the sellers could still be in charge. The sellers could still be in control here, but if it suddenly, let's say, retraces, it could retrace back to the upside here. It still has some room, but I wouldn't say that this is where I'm gonna get a little bit more, very excited with the upside or anything. For me, the upside could come, well, actually previously I talked about this 1858 level, but now I will keep an eye on these two trend lines, and if we break the downside line and we push back above this upside line, taken from the low of the 9th of August of 2021, then yeah, this is where more buyers could join it. Now jumping into WTI oil very quickly. So far so good. The idea here is working out. I talked yesterday about this idea of maybe seeing this as a rising channel, and yeah, for now we had that little retracement. Also, this is what I talked about yesterday, that we might see that little retracement, and I'm keeping an eye on that 21-day EMA. So, in other words, here, basically for now, everything's looking still positive, somewhat positive, I would say, actually, because we're still above that 21-day EMA. We're showing some, some fighting here, or should I say, the bulls are showing some fighting here. But I would say it this way, that if we manage to climb actually back above this, let me just put this one on the chart. Back above this inside swing low of the 17th of May near the 111.77 zone. Now that's where, yep, potentially more buyers could join in. However, there is still a potential for this one to drift and test the 21-day EMA. So if, again, as I'll repeat myself again, if you're not comfortable with any of this, just leave it, guys. I mean, if it starts dropping below that 21-day EMA near the 106.48 zone, then yep, then maybe we could consider a bit of a retracement here to the downside. Not exactly to this level, but more to this line here, the lower side of the rising channel, and then yeah, we'll just take it from there. Ethereum is looking bad in general, like the whole crypto world, and yep, it found resistance near this hurdle. I talked about this 2,160. I said that if this hurdle holds, then another decline could be possible. However, if you're looking for some lower levels, then certainly a drop below this area would be needed, and this is quite an important area, as you have already probably noticed, that it's this 1,700 zone is very near the lowest point of June of 2021, and yeah, so this is quite a key area to watch. If we clear that, if we drop below that, guys, this is where it could become a little bit more exciting for a few more sellers, guys. So keep that in mind. For now, I'm just observing this one. This area is not, like I said, not attractive for me at all. That's why I'm just watching this. If it pushes through this 2,160 level back, yeah, I'm gonna aim for the upside, but only for a larger correction to the upside. Jumping into a few pairs, AUD USD, just a quick update. So yeah, dollar increased yesterday, rose yesterday. So the pair here drifted back down. However, found support near the 0.6953 level. So this level becomes now quite important for me. If we drop below it, then yeah, I'll aim for lower levels. For the upside, I would need to see a break of that downside line, but also maybe a push somewhere above this area near the 0.7054 level, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. And then yeah, we could go from there, or even actually, I mean, you can keep an eye on that 0.7050 zone somewhere around here, guys. Yeah, so approximately around there in that area. And then yeah, we could go for maybe some higher levels, but again, depending on when this is gonna get, when and if this is gonna get broken. So if we push through this, yeah, then more buyers could join in. But at the moment, we're still below this downside line, so the bulls should not probably get their hopes up yet, or should I say, should not get way too excited yet. Aud and Zd. So this one is finally making a move here again. I would say finally again, because yesterday we did get a break of this upside line, and now we're seeing this move to the downside. Can we see a further decline, guys? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, because at the moment, yep, I am keeping an eye on this upside line, and if we stay below it, then I'll aim for the downside. Initially, I'll aim for that 21-day EMA, and then for that 1.0978 level. For the upside, as I said before, I need to see a push through that 1.1111 zone here, and then yeah, I'll go for some higher levels. USD CAD, so there we go. Haven't talked about this one for quite a while, but look at this one. So Previously I talked about this idea of aiming higher on the break of this barrier, this 1.3077 level. Well, that was kind of valid, and it's still kind of valid, but it was more valid when I was when the pair was still above this upside line taken from the low the 27th of April. Of course, you could still keep an eye on it because this is still a good kind of gauge, a good barrier for the upside. So basically, we need to get rid of this upside line from here, and actually we can reuse it, and we can do something like this. So we have this nice upside line here, taken from the low, the 1st of June of 2021. Now, overall, of course, you can see that we're still on an uptrend. Okay, so that's good. However, at the moment, we're seeing a retracement, so we're seeing a correction lower, and most importantly, that we're seeing a hold up below this 1.29 territory. So it's kind of doing its job somehow. So I would say this way, that as long as it remains below it, then yeah, we could continue aiming lower. But if you want something a little bit more reassuring, a drop below this 1.2795 zone could do the trick for a few more sellers, and then we could aim for that 200-day EMA or even below that. USD CHF quick update. So beautiful move, and there we go. So guys, we broke this upside line, and we are now drifting lower. So this is what I talked about yesterday. I said that if we drop below the 0.9919 territory, then yes, my next target is the 0.9873 or even this 21-day EMA. So far so good. We are on the mission here still to go there. So let's see if we can actually complete the mission. At the moment, like I said, I'm aiming for that 21-day EMA. So let's see how this is going to play out, guys. Gbp Chf, so yeah, yesterday CHF kind of was on the stronger side, as you can see, and yeah, we moved away from that 1.2417 territory. I spoke about that level. If you remember, I said that we're very close to this downside line as well, taken from the high of the 5th of April 2021. So I said that wait for that confirmation break, and this is exactly why I keep on saying this. Wait for it, because well, you end up getting something like that. So now we're seeing, yes, it's working out nicely. I said that if we drop below the 1.23 territory, then my next target is this lower side of this range where we are currently sitting in. So I'm not going to say anything further, but at the moment I'm still bearish in this one, and yeah, my next target is this highlighted territory, which is roughly around that 1.21 level. Gbp USD, so yeah, this one drifted nicely to the downside. So yesterday, if you remember, I talked about this, and I said that if we retrace a little bit but hold somewhere above this 1.2411, then yep, a nice good rebound here could be possible. However, we fell below it, we dropped below it, and we stayed below it. This downside line can go, no longer needed, and to be honest, looking at this picture, it's not really painting a very positive one. So that's why I will say that if you're looking for some lower levels, then well, if this arrow probably needs to be redrawn this way now. So if this pair stays below this 1.2411, then well, another decline here could be possible. However, again, keep your eyes on DXY. Let's see what that's gonna do, and we'll go from there. Euro and ZD. So still managing to hold on to this upside line, guys. So yeah, and I would say as long as it remains above this upside line, there is still potential for this one to move higher. However, as I said before, I would like to see a push through this 1.6842 territory first before getting comfortable, let's say, with higher levels. This was a very strong area of resistance, so even though we could see a push higher here, and it could still find a hold up somewhere below it and then reverse to the downside just by creating create a lower high and drift lower. But For the downside, we would still need to see a break of this upside line and maybe a drop below this 1.6459 territory just to be a little bit more on the safe side, and then yeah, we could go from there. And finally, EURUSD, guys, yeah, this one is also suffering a little bit, and what I said before, that if we drop back below this 1.0495 territory, then there's this kind of increases the chances again for this one to drift lower. And today, as you can see here, we dropped yesterday, we stayed below that hurdle, and yeah, we're now kind of struggling to get back above it. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, this could, you know, still go higher, this could still bounce around here, but if we somehow manage to remain below that 1.0495 territory, then, well, maybe we're not really done with the downside yet, guys. So keep that in mind. That's why I keep on mentioning this, and I have my upside scenario from a break, after a break of this downside line, and after only a push above this 1.0636 level. So keep that in mind. Okay, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for your views, your likes, your comments, guys. I really appreciate all that, and it really helps a lot. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, and have your stop losses in place. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.